podcast of the African diaspora. I'm your anchor, Ochanda, in for the weekend edition of Kush News, daily bringing you the top stories from Africa and the Caribbean. Let's take a look at today's news on Sunday, April 30th, 2023. We go to Namibia, where Finland has returned some stones. The Finnish president, Sauli Niinistö, yesterday handed back 2 fragments of Odonga traditional sacred stones that were stolen by Finnish missionaries over 100 years ago. The fragments were handed over to the cultural minister Anna Impipodoka at the State House following talks between President Gilgob and Niinistö of Finland. Niinistö stated, "I'm here to return something that belongs to you, the fragments of the sacred power stones of Ondonga." The handover was witnessed by a delegation from the Ondonga Traditional Authority, including King Philemon Shwumba Nangolo. The fragments are said to have come from a meteorite that had landed on Earth around between 1883 and 1886, according to the International Museum Council. The powers of the stones were thought to represent stability and a connection with the spirits of the forefathers. In the past, the Finnish government also returned other important cultural objects, including the power stone of the Okwanyama Traditional Authority. They have also facilitated the return of the sacred ritual stone of the Ombalantu Traditional Authority. Niinistö, who was on a state visit, said his country is committed to cooperating with Namibia in different areas, including the country's green hydrogen. According to the Finnish president, several Finnish companies are interested in the green hydrogen Namibia is developing. The Finnish president, who was on his first visit to Namibia, believing wave energy can be a fruitful source of energy. The 2 countries also signed a memorandum of understanding to set up a center of excellence in aviation training, and Works and Transport Minister John Mutorwa said negotiations are at an advanced stage. The agreement will cover adult education, primary education, inclusive education, and capacity building for vocational subject teachers from grade 7 to grade 12. Those in Namibia, let us know your excitement on getting back the sacred stones. And if you are from that ethnic group that the sacred stones that was stolen from, let us know. Let's go to Togo, where Togolese president says that they're dealing with the war in northern Togo. The small West African nation of Togo, along with neighboring Benin, Ghana, and Ivory Coast, are facing continuous threats from jihadists. The Togolese president said that we have paid a heavy price, especially our defense and security forces, and we've lost many men, unfortunately. And then we add civilians, 100 or so victims in the country. What's happening to us is a form of aggression by 2 groups. One is an Islamic State in the Greater Sahara, and the other is a group for the support of Islam and Muslims. The president of Togo has said that a 3-tiered strategy had been put into place to confront the threat, including launching a military operation back in September of 2018. It was a preventative operation at first, which had become defensive, and now occasionally we are also on the offensive. There is something indecent about proclaiming someone's death. It is not because we don't issue statements that we don't have success. We do have success. The president warned the Togolese people should expect a long fight with dramatic moments, which is inevitable in times of war. In addition to military operations, he said that the government has set up an inter-ministerial committee to prevent the fighting against violent extremism. The aim, he said, is to try to de-radicalize or prevent radicalization. Also, it's been nearly 12,000 people that have been from their homes and by the government in order to protect the border. The region is hosting people displaced from Burkina Faso, and the president said that that's about half of 100 civilians killed. Earlier this month, the country of Togo's parliament voted to extend a state of emergency in the north. a measure that allows security forces and local authorities more flexibility to take urgent measures to combat threats. Those in Togo, let us know your thoughts and let us know on if you are around those areas that are dealing with the fighting. Let's stay in the region and go to Mali, where protesters demand the United Nations leave. Hundreds gathered this weekend in Mali's capital, Bamako, to call for the United Nations peacekeeping mission in the West African country to leave. Protesters responded to a call by local political activists to close the country's military junta to attend the protests. The protesters, many waving Russian flags, say that the United Nations peacekeeping presence is no longer required. Mali is ruled by a military junta that took over power in a coup back in 2020. And Mali has been battling an Islamic State. The demonstration comes at a time when the Malian government has suffered one of the largest attacks by armed jihadists. The regime-supported anti-United Nations tensions seem to continue to rise with presidential elections set for next year, which some might not want to be analyzed too carefully by neutral observers or by peacekeepers. Those in Mali, let us know your thoughts and let us know on if you took part in the protests and if you have video footage. We'd love to share it with the rest of the world. Let's go to the Caribbean and end it there. Speaking of the United Nations Committee on Friday had called on countries in the Caribbean to suspend expulsions of Haitians. The Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination estimated that over 36,000 Haitians were expelled from Caribbean countries, including the Americas, between January and March, and expressed concern about measures taken. In a statement issued under an emergency alert procedure, the committee, composed of experts, called for suspend forced returns and taking measures to protect Haitians on the move. According to the committee, nearly 22,000 Haitians were repatriated sometime between January and November of last year. Expulsions also accelerated considerably this year, reaching 36,000 between January and March. 90% of them come from the Dominican Republic. Caribbean countries such as the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos announced repressive measures against undocumented Haitian migrants. The United States also presented in January a plan to allow accelerated expulsions of Haitians and other migrants to Mexico. Experts were concerned that Haitians were victims of excessive force, cruel and inhumane and degrading treatment, and racial profiling by law enforcement. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said that in a report, the Haitian people are victims of one of the worst human rights crises in decades, and that the death toll in the area controlled by gangs in Port-au-Prince are comparable to those in countries in a situation armed by conflict. The alarming violence in the areas where gangs are active, such as sexual violence against women, is emblematic of the terror that affects a large part of the population of Haiti, whereas half of its 11.5 million inhabitants live thanks to the humanitarian aid. Those in Haiti, let us know on how the situation is, and if you want to tell your own story and be on Kush News, we'd love to give you a spot. Reach on out to the email address and any of the social media platforms that we have in the description box below. We end today's broadcast with the African proverb of the day, and it comes to us from no particular nation and or ethnic group, and it reads, "I am making space for more success to come into my life." Once again, I am making space for more success to come into my life. And here at Kush News, we always make room for success because, why not, huh? Let me know your interpretations of today's African proverb of the day, as well as your views, questions, comments, and concerns on the top stories. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for today and any other time that we drop material. Also, feel free to follow us on Twitter. That's at Kush News, Kush_News1. Again, that's Kush_News1. The upcoming weeks, we want to hold weekly weekend Twitter spaces. For Kush News on Kush Convos TV, I'm Ochanda for the weekend edition. We'll see you soon.